Michael, trade deadline. They've already made 2 moves. They dumped a couple players, which it certainly felt like it was. How aggressive do we think they're going to be? Can we dream, or should we even expect an impact player for the Patriots at the trade deadline come Tuesday?
How are you defining impact? I mean, if you're talking A.J. Brown, no, I don't think that that's what's going to happen. But I do think that they are active. I do think they want to add pieces, especially to the edge. I think they're interested in some depth here as well, which makes a lot of sense because it's one of the things that we've talked about, like what would sort of derail what's going on? Well, there's a spot here and there's a spot there that they probably can't afford to lose their guys. Can they upgrade in that regard? So I still think that they are of the mind that this is the first year of the rebuild, and even though everything is happening way faster than anyone expected, that they'd like to keep picks in the first, second, and probably third round.
Okay, Mike, I'm curious what you think. Ramondre Stevenson, sounds like he's not playing this week. Is him not playing, is that no problem, question mark? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know that it's no problem. I mean, like Terrell Jennings has done some nice things in the 5-minute offense when games have been out of reach, but he would be the in-between the tackles guy because, as we've seen with Trevion, that's not really been his bread and butter. In fact, you get him going last week, and where do you get him going? You get him going on the edges. So I'm sure Trevion will have to run some in between the tackles, but I would imagine that that's going to be Jennings' task, and we just don't know. I have no idea if he's good or not, or good enough even in this case. And the Falcons are not a good run defense, so that's a place where you could make some hay. It would have helped to have Ramondre in this game. You don't have him, so we'll see what that looks like.
Mike, are you as sort of like confused about this week's opponent as I am? Because you look on paper like, great pass defense, like you said, suspect run defense, but on offense, you have a top 5 running back, a young quarterback who could throw it 75 yards standing still, an elite wide receiver, supposedly an elite tight end, and yet they are so up and down. They are just kind of such of a mess. Like, which Falcons team do you think shows up Sunday?
It's a great question, and they don't seem to know, right? Because every time you think this team has turned a corner, the Buffalo game a few weeks ago, hey, they smacked them 24-14, but it wasn't that close, and you're like, oh, Atlanta's finally arriving, right? Good young base of talent. It's a pretty talented roster, and then they lose the next week, then they get beat by Miami by 100 points or whatever it was. Like they're a riddle. I kind of come back to the coaching on this one. Raheem Morris might be one of those guys, and you have one as your offensive coordinator here who might just be better served as being a coordinator. He's a really good defensive coordinator, but this is his second go as a head coach. And what have they got to show for it? Not much.
Mike Giardi, Boston Sports Journal, here on WEEI Afternoons on a Patriots Friday. Mike, I heard your boss man, Greg Bedard, make a comment that Drake Maye hasn't been playing as well the last couple weeks. The high standards that he had created previously, maybe there was a little dip, and that led me to believe, and I want to know if you agree here, is there a chance of a sort of turning of the tide in the coming weeks where everything has been great for Drake Maye? Literally everybody loves Drake Maye as an MVP candidate. That maybe we build him up and now we start tearing him down and we start to see nitpicking and First Take is questioning certain things he's doing. Is that potentially on the horizon?
I think when you're playing this well, that's the next thing that happens, right? You're like, wait, this guy's playing at a level that I don't know that anyone thought it was going to reach this soon. So now you're looking at it going, hey, bailed out of the pocket there. You know what? He passed up a couple of easy throws and he took a hit on that one, or he held the ball on a little too long and he took a hit there. And that's, what would derail this football team if Drake gets himself hurt, if Drake does something foolish outside the pocket, like trying to stiff arm Myles Garrett? Like, dude, just throw the ball away. So he's still playing great, but I think there's some validity to the not every play is perfect. And I think that's why Josh McDaniels keeps talking about it. Like, we have a lot to improve on, and it's great that we're where we are, but there's a laundry list of things that he needs to get better at. And I mean, that's actually, I would be encouraged by that, right? Like, This kid's playing this well, and he's still got 5, 6, 7 things that he needs to clean up or get better at. Like, to me, that's a good thing.
It'd be nice if you had a little help on that running game, for sure. Even though they've been running better in the last couple of games. But Mike, I want to focus on the defense. Okay, the defense. I've been trying to figure out what I think of this defense because there's markers, there's indicators that would suggest it's not as good as people think. And just to give you a couple examples, the defense is ranked dead last in red zone defense. They're dead last in goal-to-goal defense. They are 31st in giving up big plays of 20 or more yards. They're 7th most. They give up the 7th most yards after catch, and they're 25th in net yards per pass. So those are some pretty, serious, categories that they're ranking low in. What is your biggest concern for this defense?
Consistent pass rush. Some of the guys have decent individual numbers. You look at some of the pressures and things of that nature. But, as much as I like the way the interior has played, and even not just the two big guys, but then Tonga and Joshua Farmer and even Corey Durden, and I think Mike's kind of pushed at this a little bit, we still need more there. They're not affecting the quarterback as much as they need to be. And now, Harold's had a couple quiet weeks. Landry on the outside, probably dealing with whatever happened to him with the leg, knee at New Orleans, and Chaseon's a liability against the run, so you get the good pass rush, but they run right at him because that's the place to run. Mm-hmm. So it's can those guys be a little bit better? And if they can be, again, you're paying a lot of money to Barmore and Williams in the middle. Can they cause a little bit more havoc? And if they can, then I think all those other things, at least in terms of the pass defense, everything marries together, right? And Gonzalez is now probably rounded into form where he's got his game legs back, and now he's starting to play. You even saw with the swagger, not that Jerry Jeudy, the Dylan Gabriel, the Jerry Jeudy scares no one, but Jerry Jeudy did nothing in the game, and he was yapping at him quite a bit. And it was okay, I think Christian's feeling like himself again. So those sorts of things can help all the way down the line and make them at least we keep talking about top 10, top 12 defense. Can they get there? I don't know if they statistically can get there, but they can play that way.
All
right, Mike, two-parter from me right here using the same acronym. One, who is your midseason MVP on the Patriots not named Drake Maye? And two, who do you have at the midseason for an MVP NFL-wise?
MVP for the Patriots, let's say Robert Spillane. First 2 weeks were awful, more missed tackles than tackles. And since then, I think it's 5 or 6 games, double-digit tackles. He's in the right place, communicates really well. The guys up front talk about sometimes he sees stuff before it happens and he's telling us. And so we have, we've got a cheat sheet. So I think his ability to embrace all that stuff and just lead that defense has been good. Yeah, you still could go at him in coverage, but let's face it, I don't know, there are too many great cover linebackers in the league, not named Fred Warner, and he's out for the year. MVP, Taylor, either Jonathan Taylor, Drake Maye, or Patrick Mahomes. Taylor's not going to win because quarterbacks win the award. I'll say it's Mahomes because I think they're on a run right now, and I think they may continue to stay on this run, and I think he edges Drake in that regard.
Michael, a final football question. Is this a losable game? Is there any reason to worry? Are you picking the Patriots? Is this just okay, it'll be, even if it takes till the third quarter, this will end up another 30-something to 15 type game?
This is the most perplexing opponent they played because, like I said, I think there's a lot of talent on that team, and every once in a while they show it. They tended not to travel well. So unless Raheem Morris can convince them that their season is on the line, which when you look at the records, if you really want to be a playoff team, you probably need to get it going. Then I think the Patriots are confident, but not overconfident, and I think they're going to keep rolling this weekend.
And then most importantly, clear up a little debate we were having. Are you a Halloween guy? Do you dress up? Do you like candy? What's the status tonight?
I not dress up. No. Do I like Halloween? I did until I got this crazy dog that barks at everything that moves. Oh. So we're going to have a 3-hour bark fest tonight. So that's going to be great. I should have gone to the vet and gotten some drugs for him. Is what I should have done.
There's a dispensary around the corner.
Is he run to the door every time the doorbell rings, and then you got to hold him back from the kids? Is that kind of what you got?
Yeah,
there?
But it's barking and the hackles go up, and you're he's harmless. He'd literally if I let him go, he'd roll over and let them scratch his belly. But in that moment, I got to defend my front door. It's dude, every time, literally every time. Yeah, every time.
So what are the Giardis giving out tonight? Full size?
I don't make TV money anymore, Andy, so no, sorry.
Mini Twix.
Yeah, mini. We're actually splitting the bags, actually. I'm cutting them in half.
All right, Mike, enjoy the night, enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, boys.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
That's Mike Giardi, Boston Sports Journal. And Football Talk on WEEI is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local game live every Sunday, all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.